Morning guys, I wanted to go over today how to prune indeterminate tomatoes. I'm out here almost every day pinching off any of the suckers that are on the tomato plants, but I've been away for a couple days, so there's a little bit more pruning to do, and I'll show you exactly what that is. I have a couple of my indeterminate tomatoes here. These are sweet 100s and they're cherry tomatoes. If we take a closer look, you can actually see that I'm training this up one stem all the way up this stake here. And I do have some parsley growing underneath this plant. So what I'm going to do is these leaves towards the bottom, they're starting to crowd out the parsley a little bit. So I'm just going to prune a couple of these off. So this one here, I'm just going to pinch off. Even this one here is hanging a bit into the parsley, so I'm going to just snip that. As you can see, I've already trimmed a lot of the branches that are down here to give that a little bit of air. We don't want them touching the ground because that's how they get diseases if they're constantly on the wet soil. We have the leaves here and the main stem going up. So what I'm just looking for are the suckers, and the suckers will grow right in this little corner part here. And I'm just looking to see if I can see any of those to pinch out. This plant is actually looking really, really good until I get up to this top portion. It gets a little bit funny. Now, I have my leaf coming off here, and I have a stem going straight up. Well, it's curved, but that is my main stem. It's just bent over because we have this huge sucker growing in there. Let's see if I can move these leaves out of the way. So we have this big sucker that is growing in there, and we want to cut that out. So I'm going to give that a big snip there. So you do want to make sure you're doing it on a day that it's not going to be super rainy. And that is because this wound I'm about to make can let a lot of bacteria and fungus in. So you want to make sure that you're doing that on a day that it's going to be warm and sunny. Now I've just tied that a little bit loosely with some twine here. So I don't want to do it too tight because then it won't have a chance to grow. It won't be able to grow up through it. So I just leave it a little bit loose so it can grow through that. And then if you look up here, I can actually see that there are more suckers growing already. So this here, in between my leaf and my main stem, I have these little ones growing in. Now these are the little ones that we can just pinch out. And I can do the same here with this one on this side. So we have our leaf, our branch of leaves growing in. We have our main stem there, and then we have the sucker that's in the middle. We're just pinching that out. So now again, we're looking at quite a neat vine that as this grows a little bit taller, I'll continue to hold this with twine to the stake. So onto the second plant, when I go down to the bottom here, I'm just gonna cut that whole branch off. And we're just gonna get that out of there. And that allows a lot of airflow to be flowing right through the bottom of the plant, and that's exactly what we want. And again, we're just creating that airflow. So now it's looking quite nice. We even got some little baby tomatoes growing there. And again, at the top of our plant here, we have our leaf and we have our main stem that's actually starting to grow a bit crooked because this sucker that's right in the middle of it. So we are going to pinch out that sucker. And I can just snap that off. So now we have this here, and I'll start to train this to go back against that stake. Okay, and I'm training this one as well to go up. And we get here, and there we are. There's a sucker right in the middle there. So we're just gonna come in and pinch it out. And then we can keep following this up, and I need to twine this to the stake again. But again, we have another sucker right in the middle there. Pinch that out. And they even start off very small. So if you can see this here, they start off as just like the little leaves, and you can pinch them off at that point as well. They're actually, the smaller that you can get to them, the better. But as they get bigger, it's still okay. You just need to make sure you do it on a dry day. And then I'm gonna twine this one to the stake again. And I'm just going to continue to do this with all of my tomato plants. And this will create a really nice and neat tomato plant. It will still produce a lot of nice tomatoes for me.